Hi ladies and gents, welcome back to Guide to Solidworks. So in this tutorial we are going to look at how we can make this key. So this is just a bit of a fun activity that involve a few little modeling techniques. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We do a lot of good SolidWorks content on here that's going to help you learn and develop with your skills within SolidWorks. Right, let's dive into this model. Okay, so the first bit I'm going to start with is this back section. So I'm going to draw on the front plane. I'm going to sketch on that. And I'm going to create an outline. Taking a center line. Starting from the origin. We're going to come out in one direction. Now, this section here is going to be 23 long. So this is going to be my first section, which is going to be the back part. From there, I'm going to come up, down at an angle, and down here to get that shape that I'm after for the handle bit. And I'm just going to put some sizes to this. So from the outside edge to there, that whole distance across the back is going to be 22. And from this point to the center line here, and that whole distance across the front is going to be 15. Now I have two radiuses in here. They are both 3 mil, so I'm going to put a 3 mil radius on that corner and that corner, like so. Now what that allows me, now I've drawn half of it, is just to mirror that across. So I'm just going to highlight them, exit that process, highlight them lines, like so. Go to mirror entities, come down to what I want to mirror about, click in that box and select my center line there, and that'll just do my mirror of my sketch, and tick like so. Now the next bit that I want to put in is the hole here in the back, so I'm going to go for the circle, drop that there. Now this circle is going to be 5 mm diameter, so let's change that to 5 mm, and it's going to have a 2 mm gap between there and the edge, so I can go from the centre of my circle to this back edge here, and that's going to be 4.5. Like so. That includes the 2.5 out to the edge of the circle and then the 2 mm gap. So that's that section. Now what I also want is the outline for where I'm going to have my key section, the cut-in bit for where I would use for the actual key bit. So again, I'm going to do another center line. I'm going to come straight out from here, and I'm going to set that distance there to 30 mm. Okay, now I've got that. What I can do now is I can offset this line. So use the offset tool, and I'm going to go bi-directional. And for this, I want it to be 9 mm thick, so I'm going to go 4.5 each way, like so. Tick there, and then I'm going to drop in with a line. So this line is going to come out from the end to there, and the same on the other side, like so. And we're going to want that to be 45 degrees, so from there to there is going to be 45 degrees. And the same on the other side. Like so. Okay, so now we've got that rough outline, I'm just going to trim off these edges here. So we've got that shape. I need to extrude this, so I'm going to go to features and I'm going to go to extrude. Now this is only thin, it's only 2 mm thick, so I'm going to extrude it, but I'm going to extrude it mid-plane, and I'm going to go 2 mil. And what it's asking me to do now is select some contours to extrude. So I want to extrude that contour there and this contour here, like so. Tick. And I get that extrusion. Now I can double check that it's down the mid plane just by finding the front plane and going over the top of it, and you see straight down the centre of that extrude that model. Okay, so I've got this roughed out shape now. What I'm after next is actually being able to put in some cutouts into here. So the first one is the cutout that goes down the centre. So let's start with that. Now I want to take my right plane. So if I click on my right plane here, you'll see I get these nodes on the end, these circles. I'm going to grab one, hold control, and pull it out forwards. And you'll see it creates a new plane, like so. Now if I click anywhere else on here, so for instance the end of here, it will move it so it's in relationship to that. Tick like so, and I get that new plane in place on the end of my model there. So if I turn that so I'm face on, what I want to do is sketch on that plane, and I'm going to create a centre rectangle from this endpoint here. And I want it to be 2 milli wide. And I want it to be 0.5 mil deep, which means I want that then to be 1 mil. Like so. Okay, so that gives me that feature. Now this feature is what I am going to cut all the way along here to give me that groove in the actual face. However, I can't just cut it along because it actually comes out as well, so I'm going to sweep it along a path. So I'm going to find the top plane there. I'm going to sketch on that top plane. I'm going to move so I can see the top view there. And I'm going to draw a line from the centre of here, going along, and then out at an angle like so. Now the distance along here is going to be 24. And my angle that I'm producing from there to there is going to be 10 degrees. Now I just want this to be a distance of 5 on the end. The distance of that doesn't really matter too much as long as it's longer than what the material will come out of the key body itself. Okay, so now we've got that shape. I am going to sweep that along that path. So if I go to features, I'm going to sweep cut. Because that path is highlighted, it's picked it up in there. What I need to do now is zoom in, and I want to select this sketch here as well for the profile, and we'll get a preview there showing us what it's going to do along that path. Tick, and we get our key cut out like so. Now with this, there's one in exactly the same place on the opposite side, so I can mirror that across. So let's mirror it across the front plane, and we're going to select our sweep pattern to mirror, like so. Okay, so we've got that in place now. So the next one that we want in place is the sketch to create the lower cutting. So I'm going to go back to plane 1, I'm going to sketch on plane 1 again, and I'm going to create another square. Going straight on the end here. Now with this, what I'm interested in doing is creating this same shape again. So I'm going to come down, drag that down a bit. Now this needs to be 2 mil again. 1 mil at the side. However, we're going to have a 1 mil offset from there to there. So that our cutout is 1 mil further down, like so. And I can exit that sketch. Now, I also need to create a plane here for this sketch to follow. So, if I take the top plane, grab a node again, hold Control, and drag that down. I can then click the center of this square, this rectangle, sorry, and it will relate to that, giving me a plane to draw along there. So, put that in place. Sketch on that. I'm going to go back to the top view. And I'm going to create a line which goes from this end point here along my model, and this one is going to go 27 along and then come out again at an angle of 10. So line 27 along and 10 degrees in here. I just want that line again to be 5 milli long as well. And we've got that set up. So, now I've got that in place, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sweep that again. So I'm going to go to Features and do a sweep cut and repeat that process using this sketch pattern here at the bottom as well. Now you'll see there how that's coming along again, so I'm just going to tick to show that I'm happy with that, and you'll see we've now got our cutting on the bottom. Now this plane that's on the bottom I'm not going to need again, so I'm just going to hide that, making it a bit easier to see what we've got in place. Now I do need also to include one up on this top face on the other side, so I'm going to repeat that same process I've just done for that last one. So on this end plane, I'm going to sketch. Now I'm just going to try and speed this up a little bit so that we're following along, because this is exactly the same process as what we've just done on that last one. Drag that up there, and we're after a 2 milli. Get up there, and 1 milli there. Now I need this center point here to be aligned with this edge, so we're just going to make them coincidence, and then I can set my distance from this top edge to here, being 1. Now once I've got that in place again, I can go and do my sweep line. So I'm going to have to set a plane first, so top plane. Hold Control, drag it up, make it relationship to that center of that sketch. View from the top, and I am going to pick a line and just come along here, and I'm going to repeat what I just did on the other side. So it's going to be 27 and then an angle of 10 degrees again. So 27. And an angle of 10 degrees off here to create that cutout. Now I want this line here to be 5 milli long again, so just change that to 5, and we've got everything in place there now. So that's that sketch in place. So once I've got that sketch and I've got my end piece, I can Features and extrude sweep cut that, sorry. along that path, and I've got all my cutouts in place now for my key. So the last part of this then is in terms of the main part of this key head, is just to create the pattern for the key itself. So I'm just going to hide that top face. I'm going to hide the end face because I no longer need that either. Okay, so I'm going to pick the front of here, my model, I'm going to sketch on there, and I am going to create the key shape itself. So let's turn that so it's face on so I can see what I'm doing. Now I'm after creating a specific pattern, so that pattern is dependent on the key that you're using. This is just something I'm going to make up. So this will change depending on your key that you might use for this if you wanted to use it modeling. So I'm just going to make a random pattern up. You can make up your own, or you can model it to whatever size you want. I'm just going to create up the shape that I want. So I'm just seeing here, I'm just going along creating these cutouts that we have here. Just creating a small pattern so that you can see the type of shape that you want to produce for this model. Okay, so there we go. So we've got that pattern. I'm not going to define that because, like I said, it could be any shape that you want. So I'm not going to be specific in terms of the shape, but you could define it however you wanted. All you need to do is, if you're making this to fit a key that you've got, measure it up and just put the dimensions in for each bit and define that fully. But now I've got that in place, I'm going to go to Features, I'm going to go to Cut, and I want to cut that all the way through, which is the 2 mil. Now I can set it to 2 mil, I can just go all the way through like so. Tick there, and that will go through that model. Now that gives me the shape on one side. Now this key is designed so it's got the pattern on both sides. So with this we can mirror that pattern. All I need to do from a design tree here is select the cut from the bottom there, in my pattern there, and I want to go across the top plane. Tick, and I have that same pattern now on both sides, like we do in this type of key. I'm just going to put a fillet on this end. I'm going to do 0.5 fillet on that end there, just to round off that point. Okay, so now with that, I've just got some final detail to add on. So turning this straight on, within the key there's just some detail on the handle, so I'm just going to sketch on there. I'm going to take this outside edge that we've got here, I'm just going to highlight the lines around the outside edge. And that last arc there. So I've just highlighted the lines around there, and I'm going to offset them lines. I'm going to offset them by 1 mil, and I'm going to go on the inside of that sketch. So I'm just clicking on the inside of that model there. Now I need to complete this with a line across. So I'm just going to close this off with a line across there. Now again, using that sketch that I've just created, I'm going to highlight them lines again, and I'm going to offset them again. I'm going to go by 0.25, and I'm going to come on the inside of that model. Now that I'm on there, I'm going to create a cut for that. So Features, Cut, and I want to cut out that pattern, and I'm going to go 0.25 depth as well. And that gives me that pattern around the outside edge. Now I also want to mirror that pattern, so I'm going to mirror it around the front plane, and I'm going to mirror that pattern that I've just created, that cutout, and now I've got that on both sides as a feature. Now the last part of this is I just want to put some text on here because most keys have some sort of symbol or design on the front, so I'm going to click on that front plane, I'm going to sketch on there. If we turn that straight on, I'm going to put the centre line in place, somewhere around there, like so, and we're going to add some sort of text to this. So I'm going to A, along that line is my curve or design, and I'm going to put in guide to Solidworks. Now I want to centralize that, so I'm just going to move that across a little bit. Now the text you can see on here is coming out massively too big, so I'm just going to go use, rather than using document sizes, I'm going to define my own font size. I'm going to turn the points here to 6, the font size there, and we shouldn't be too bad. Turn that back slightly, and we can tick there. So we've got that text in place. I'm going to click on that text. Runs it lets me. Click on that text, features, and I'm going to cut that text into the body of the key. Going to go back 0.5 again, tick there, and we have that key design with the symbol on. Okay, so I hope you found that tutorial useful. Just something a little bit different there to try for you. Have a go, and I hope you enjoyed that process. So if you did, please give us a big thumbs up and like the content. It helps me out in terms of developing more content. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.